What's up, guys? It's your girl Annie, and I'm back again with another chapter in my diary. If you can't tell by today's title, we are doing a video on moving out tips. So I hope you guys can hear me. I'm trying to speak louder than what I usually speak because I speak very low in person. I'm very soft toned. I don't know. Somebody told me that before and I was like, a lot of people told me to speak up. So I'm trying to speak up more. Don't mind my jacket in the back. Don't mind that stuff back there. Just ignore it. Put your focus on me. But anyways, today I'm going to be giving you guys some moving out tips. We have my list here. I'm just going to be reading off my list and basically, you know, kind of explaining a bit why or whatever the case may be. But make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and let's get straight into this video, guys. But okay, if you didn't know, I am 20 years old and I moved away from home when I was 20. So yeah, this is my first apartment that I'm in. Stay tuned for the updated apartment tour. I didn't give you guys the empty one, but I am going to give you guys basically a tour. That was one of the Vlogmas days videos, so stay tuned for that. What was I about to say? So yeah, basically I'm here just to give you tips as a 20-year-old who moved out of home. Some do's and don'ts, and yeah, I mean, you can take them, you cannot take them, but hey, I'm trying to put you on again. So if you hear my boyfriend in the back, please ignore him. Okay, my first tip: look for apartments 2 to 3 months before you move. Now, I feel like this is something everybody should know because you need to have options and you need to like go through everything, especially like if this is your first time about to move like out of your parents' house and stuff like that. I feel like you really need to pay attention to everything, like the environment of the place, going on, the people that live there, you know, the managers, stuff like that. But yeah, I say look for apartment 2 to 3 months before you move, because just so you have more options. Like, make sure your options are open. Don't always go with the first apartment you see because it could be better and cheaper apartments out there. So yeah, keep your options open. My next tip is, if you're somebody that already lived in an apartment by themselves or with someone, I would say when you're about to move into another one, pack 2 to 3 weeks before, just so that it'll be so much easier to like just get the U-Haul truck and move everything out. And then make sure when you're packing also, like, I will label each room. Like, so for instance, like if I was to pack up my room, I'll have a box, put it in a room, like basically just labeling each box with each room. That way it's so much easier. It makes the process, like when you're moving into a different apartment, it makes that process so much easier. Like, I wish I've done that, like, but the way I moved, it was like kind of, I wasn't in a position to do that. I would say my next tip was to be start buying stuff months and weeks before you move out, so that you have all the necessities that you need. And what I mean by that, like, get a bucket, get a big ass bucket, and just start stacking up on tissue and cleaning supplies and like all that good stuff, like all like toothpaste and stuff like that, all the stuff that you know you're gonna need like when you moved in. That way, like, you're stacked up on everything. All you have to do, like, when you move in is really like worry about furniture and stuff like that, because you already stacked up on the small stuff. So that's a really good tip. Like, keep that in mind, guys. Always try to find stuff so that it makes it so much easier on you, because once you move out and you have to start paying bills and stuff, I promise you, like, stuff just always ends up like coming up, like where you have to get, oh, you have to get this and you have to get that, like stuff always end up coming up. So be like, make sure you guys are like stacked up on the like the small stuff. Okay, my next tip was to be save up at least $5,000. And I say this because make sure, or and also like save up deposit and security, like first month's rent. But I always say like try to have money in your pockets. Make sure you have emergency funding. Yeah, like saving up that much money is like, first of all, that could help with first month's rent and security deposits, like, you know, and then you still have money afterwards, which could be for, you know, second month's rent. That way you're working, that way you're adding money to what you already have, which is like, okay, that could go for rent and you're still stacking that money. Like, that's okay. So a lot of people say you don't need to save up money to move out, and you don't. I mean, you don't. As long as you have a nice stable job and you have a job, you're making money, enough money for you, you're making enough money where you think that you can live on your own, and or even live with somebody, but you're making enough money to where you think that you can pay for rent and stuff like that. But personally, I'm just telling you guys what I did. I saved up money. Well, we saved up money. We have money saved up already. So, well, when it came time to move, we already had money for first month's rent, security deposits, second month's rent, stuff like that. And also, look for deals, guys. Like, a lot of these apartments have deals, like where they have, oh, first month you get $500 off your rent, or you get $2,000 off your rent, or first month's rent is free, stuff like that. Move into apartment complexes that have deals like that, because we sure did. Like, we had a deal for our apartment complex. But yeah, keep that in mind. But anyways, let me backtrack to what I was saying. A lot of people say you don't have to have money, but I say make sure you do have at least some money saved up. That way you're not going into it blind, and that way when stuff comes up, you have enough funding in your account to cover stuff like that, you know, because you know anything can happen. So just make sure you're prepared. Next tip, budget your checks. So, and like, be financially stable. And what I mean like that is like, make sure you have enough money to where you can pay for rent, groceries, the small stuff, you know, and still everything else you need to live on a daily basis. I mean, rent be so high, guys, nowadays. Like, it's really insane to me. The camera fell, so I'm going to put the camera right here. So I'm sorry if the lighting is like bad, but the camera can't stay up there, it keeps falling. But if you're moving alone, I would say just make sure you're financially ready, and make sure that, you know, you can cover it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with asking for help, but you know, a lot of us females like to be independent, and we don't like to ask for help until the last minute. So I say just move when you know that you can take care of yourself and you can do it by yourself, to the point where you don't need to ask anybody for help. So yeah, I would say my next tip will be to move in with a roommate. Like, if you can, like, there's nothing wrong with living with a roommate, but my only thing about that is living with people is so different from not living with them. Like, they always say you never really truly know a person until you live with them, and when I say that saying is so true, it's so true, like, so true. So I say make sure, you know, you're moving with somebody that you know you feel like it'll last like a long time, like you'll live with them for a minute, you know. I mean, because you can't really predict the future, or something like that. And even if you are moving with a roommate, make sure it's something you guys can both afford, but also make sure it's something you can afford on your own if anything was to ever happen to you and your roommate living situation, like your roommate having to move out, or your roommate, like you and your roommate get into it and they have to move out and stuff like that. So also keep that in mind. Like, you can make sure it's somewhere, like, especially if you're moving with a guy, make sure you move into a place that you know, like, if anything was to happen with you guys, I mean, like, God forbid, but if anything was to happen to you guys, you can cover it on your own. And this goes for guys and girls, like, this goes for vice versa. So that would be my biggest tip for you guys. It would be to make sure you have a stable job. At the end of the day, none of us know what's going to happen in the future, so you never know, like, if you're going to get fired, if you're going to have to quit and go to a different job. Ignore him, I'm so sorry. But my point is, like, make sure you have a stable job. And that's why I say, like, it's very important to make sure you save up too, in just in case stuff like that happens. You know, have like an emergency fund and stuff like that, for like, because you just never know what's gonna happen. Like, I can't stress that enough. You never know what's gonna happen. Okay. My next tip would to be, make sure you have credit. People say if you don't have credit, you can't get an apartment. But I've seen, like, I know plenty of people that have credit. I mean, that don't have credit and has an apartment. The only thing is, with credit, your deposit is going to be, without credit, I mean, your deposit will probably be high. So that's why I say, make sure you have credit. Make sure we are building our credit, guys. This is the time for us to be building our credit. I'm talking too fast. Sorry. Like, but yeah, this is the time for us to be building our credit, you know. That's like really important, like really important, guys, for us to have credit. So my next tip will be, I'll say to wait to buy furniture. Buy furniture when you can. Don't buy furniture because, you know, you want to just rush and make it seem like you got it all together. Be very patient. Buy furniture. Okay, my camera temperature is getting hot, so let's hurry up and wrap this up. So my next tip would to be, when you're applying for apartments, right, and you're gonna go in, you're gonna sign a lease. Listen to me carefully when I say, make sure that you are viewing the apartment before you sign the lease. And I cannot stress that enough. I was taught that at a very young age. I mean, just by observing and watching my mom. So when it was time for us to sign our lease, I made sure we looked at this apartment before we moved in. So make sure that is what you're doing, because that is very, very crucial. You don't want to sign the lease and then look at the apartment afterwards, and it's not the apartment that you want. So make sure y'all are looking at the apartment before signing that lease, okay? Okay. Take pictures of everything inside the apartment. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure the apartment complex is gonna make you do this. But just for instance, if the apartment complex doesn't make you do this, make sure you are taking pictures of everything that is wrong in that apartment complex. That goes for the walls, the cabinets, the closet, every single item that is wrong and that was already like that before you moved in. Make sure you taking a picture, because when it's time for your lease to be up, they're going to try to use that and say, oh, you messed this up, so you're not getting your deposit back. Make sure y'all are doing that so that y'all can get your deposit back. Like, make sure we're not just giving thousands of dollars to y'all for our deposit and then not trying to get it back. No. Make sure you guys taking pictures of everything. Everything. And I think that was my last tip for you guys. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Even if you guys have questions on anything, leave them in the comments below. I'm pretty sure I have an answer for it. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And tune into my next video. Bye.